Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to put on our detective hats and act as organizational investigators. We're diving into diagnosing organizational health by looking at, well, one of the most absolutely crucial, yet kind of misunderstood aspects of running a team. We aren't just staring at sterile numbers on a spreadsheet here. We're talking about the literal lifeblood of any organization, its people. Specifically, we're going to unpack this giant mystery. Where exactly are those people going when they leave? So, ask yourself, which practice actually had the highest drain of talent? We really need to frame attrition not just as some boring HR stat, but as a critical, massive loss of hard-won resources. I mean, when top talent walks out the door, they're taking their knowledge, their momentum, their innovations, the whole shebang right out with them. But the absolute biggest danger, it isn't just that they leave. It's when leaders have literally zero clue where the leak is actually happening. And that is exactly the mystery we're going to solve today. All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the baseline, categorizing headcount. You know, you really can't fix a leak in a massive ship if you don't know the layout of the ship's compartments first, right? So we've got to establish a rock-solid baseline by defining our core metric. It's called attrition practice-wise. Simply put, this just means knowing the attrition among the employees working in a particular practice. This right here is our primary investigative tool. Instead of looking at the whole company as one giant monolithic block, we're zooming in. We're diagnosing exactly where the organization is losing people, completely isolating the data practice by practice. To actually make this work, we've got to look at the total headcount of the organization and categorize it strictly by practice. Think of it like a giant pie. Each slice of your organizational makeup represents a specific practice. Maybe one slice is your engineering team, another's marketing, another's customer support. I mean, we've all seen that crazy scenario where a star engineering team is just suddenly hollowed out in a single quarter. Well, you absolutely cannot accurately measure that kind of localized attrition if you haven't cleanly categorized your total headcount into these distinct, measurable slices first. Moving right along to Section 2, pinpointing practice attrition. Okay, so we've moved from static numbers to tracking the actual loss. The investigation truly begins here with a super simple three-step process. Step 1, categorize headcount by practice. We actually just covered that, setting up our slices. Step 2, track attrition in a particular practice. This means when someone leaves, they aren't just tallied as a generic company loss anymore, they're explicitly tagged as a loss from that specific slice. Which leads us to the grand reveal. Step 3, identify the highest talent drain. Because of this structured tracking, you gain immediate crystal clear visibility. You can suddenly see if one specific slice is just hemorrhaging talent while the rest of the company is perfectly fine. And that brings us to Section 3, tracking time-based ratios. Now, solving the mystery once is awesome, but to really maintain organizational health, you need an early warning radar system. The crucial point here is that we are calculating a specific ratio to measure this accurately. Why a ratio and not just a raw number? Well, think about it like this. If your engineering practice loses 5 people and your design practice loses 5 people, the raw number is exactly the same, right? 5. But what if engineering has 500 people and design only has 20? Losing 5 out of 20, that is a massive critical talent drain. That's a 25% ratio. Losing 5 out of 500 is a tiny 1% ratio. So the ratio is really the magic key to understanding the true severity of the talent drain. To make this ratio actually work for us, we track it across specific timeframes, monthly, quarterly, and yearly. It gives the whole investigation a nice rhythm. Checking the ratio monthly, that helps you catch those sudden, acute issues before they spiral totally out of control. Reviewing them quarterly lets you spot emerging trends or, the impact of recent org changes. And then zooming out to that yearly ratio gives you the ultimate long-term health check of your retention strategies. It's basically a continuous, focused pulse check. Which brings us to our final and honestly, perhaps the most important question for you today. If you calculated these ratios right now, where is your organization's highest drain of talent? This isn't just some abstract theory. It's a powerful diagnostic tool just waiting to be used. So I highly challenge you to take what we've covered in this explainer, go look at your own data, categorize your headcount, calculate those ratios, and solve your very own talent drain mystery. The health of your organization literally depends on it. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep investigating, and I'll catch you next time.